For years, there's been talks of a Joel Schumacher cut of Batman Forever, which would bring the runtime to 3 hours. It would be more of a darker psychological look at Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne and why is Bruce Wayne Batman, or why is Batman Bruce Wayne? And this movie has been on my radar for a very long time. Ever since I heard about the Joel Schumacher cut, I've wanted to see it. I'm a big fan of Batman Forever. I think some of the themes that Joel Schumacher brings to the franchise are brilliant. The colour choices in that movie, the cinematography, the score, some of the suits. Yes, I don't mind the bat nipples. I think Val Kilmer was a pretty good Batman. I really do. And it's a shame he never came back for the sequel or for more interpretations of the character, because I think he did a pretty good job. And that movie came out in 1995. It's 26 years old. It did very well at the box office. It made a lot of money. It was a big hit that year. I think maybe it was the highest grossing movie of 1995. Jim Carrey, of course, a huge star at the time. Tommy Lee Jones, a great actor. Val Kilmer, very good as well. You know, it had a really good cast. And the movie did well. They rushed the sequel, of course, Batman and Robin. Val Kilmer dropped out. And Batman and Robin became a toys-driven movie. And that's exactly what Joel Schumacher gave the studio was, yeah, there you go, sell toys. But audiences didn't like that whatsoever. But Joel Schumacher gave them exactly what they wanted. But Batman Forever, for me, the director's cut, will be a very interesting movie to watch. And we live in a world where hashtag release the Snyder Cut became hashtag Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that movie came out this year and was a pretty big success. And the air cut movement is pretty strong as well. You know, so there's these fan campaigns to see director's cuts of these movies. And Joel Schumacher's cut of Batman Forever has slowly built a fan base that want to see this longer, darker version that would have more Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, the Riddler and Two-Face. It would have more, I think, of Drew Barrymore's character as well. Everyone will be explored a little bit more as well, and I think that would be awesome to see. Why not? Why not put it on HBO Max? That's what many people think. Put it on HBO Max. Let's see how well it does. And Joel Schumacher, for me, you say what you want about his Batman movies, but Batman Forever was successful, and I'm sure there is people out there that like Batman and Robin. He had a stamp on people's childhoods, and I like Joel Schumacher. He's made some unbelievable movies, and I love his Batman movie, the first one, and Batman and Robin. It's not great, but I can still have some fun with it, even though it's not that good. I look at it as more of a tribute to Adam West. But one of the producers of that movie, Akiva Goldsman, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, has told us that a Schumacher cut exists. And even this image right here came out for the 25-year anniversary. Another scene with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face in prison. You know, so there's more scenes that we've never even seen before. I think there's one with Batman and a bat. But Akiva Goldsman, this is what he had to say about the Joel Schumacher cut.
And Batman Forever, which people really liked. And by the way, Batman Forever sort of still has a renaissance coming. I really am interested to see whether the original cut of Batman Forever comes out, because I got to see it recently, the first one, which was referred to as Preview Cut 1. And it was really dark. It was a pretty psychological exploration of guilt and shame.
So there you have it. That's one of the producers, Akiva Goldsman, who worked with Joel Schumacher on a number of movies, worked on Batman Forever, worked on Batman and Robin. I think he wrote the screenplay for I Am Legend as well. So he's pretty decorated in the business, in the industry. And I will tell you what, I think there's more of a possibility of the Schumacher cut being released than, say, the Ayer cut. Why? Well, the Ayer cut is a branch to the Snyderverse. And Warner Brothers don't want the Snyderverse right now. They don't. They didn't back the movie. They didn't market the movie. They're trying to bury the movie with more news and stuff like that. So I don't think the Ayer cut will happen. And obviously, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad comes out later this year. So they're not going to put 2 Suicide Squad movies out in the 1 year whatsoever. And this scene right here, I would love to see this scene here. This looks crazy. But a Joel Schumacher cut of Batman Forever exists. The producer has seen it. He talked about the movie. He said it's darker. He wants it to happen. He's been very vocal about it in a number of articles and even on Twitter as well, that it could exist. People want to see it now. He wants to get it released. And I think because he has such a good reputation with Warner Brothers, with studios, I think he might be able to get this movie released. I confidently think that. I think he has enough power at the studio, reputation, more of kind of a goodwill to him, that it will get released. But I don't think the Ayer cut is going to get released before the Schumacher cut, because it branches off to the Snyderverse, and Warner Bros. Don't want that right now. So why not put out the 3-hour cut of Batman Forever, put it on HBO Max. I don't know if all the scenes are completely finished, but he watched a version of it that wasn't touched by the studio back in 1995. He watched it recently, and he said it was good and it was darker. He didn't say that it needed to be more complete or anything like that. So let's hope it's a possibility. I would definitely love to see it. And he referred to it as Preview Cut number 1. You're probably asking, What exactly is that? Well, this is the final cut that Joel Schumacher had of the movie in terms of this is what he shot and this is what he was happy with and this is what he would have liked to release in theaters. And Warner Brothers came back and said, no, cut it down to 2 hours, add this in, take this away. And Joel Schumacher went away and he gave us the theatrical version of this movie, which was successful. It was successful. But that was his studio version. But the Joel Schumacher cut would be his complete version that he wanted for this film. His idea of the psychological battle that Bruce Wayne goes through every single day, the death of his parents, stuff like that. And there was actually glimpses of that kind of in Batman and Robin as well. He was just trying to place those ideas into this franchise, but Warner Brothers maybe deemed it too dark. They wanted to step away from the Tim Burton era of darkness, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely to be seen what Joel Schumacher was going for. And I would love to see it, and I'm sure maybe you would as well. Like, what's the harm it would do? Just put the movie out in Hbomax. Let people watch it and look at it as a tribute to Joel Schumacher, a great director who sadly passed away last year. Do it like that. I think it would be really nice because he gets a lot of stick for Batman and Robin. Maybe rightfully so, but that was a studio mandate. They wanted the movie like that. I just think it would be a nice closure to Joel Schumacher's trilogy. Let's call this the third movie. As closure, end it on a good note for this great filmmaker and say, oh, this is what he was trying to do and this is what, he was going for in this movie or maybe the following movie. And I just think it would be a really nice thing to do for Joel Schumacher, maybe his family as well. Something like that I just think would be amazing. And the fans would support it because it's Batman. Jim Carrey as well is still relevant today as he ever was. So yeah, why not? Just put it out there. Let's see how it does. And it will be interesting to get interviews with Val Kilmer or Jim Carrey or Tommy Lee Jones talking about Joel Schumacher. Make it an event. I think it would just be really nice. But I think there's an event coming up on June 16th for hashtag release the Schumacher cut. And there's a few pages on Instagram and on Twitter that I follow. Schumacher RT, and I think the other one is Cut Schumacher. Just search for Schumacher on Instagram and Twitter and you'll find pages that are dedicated to the release of this movie, and they're organising an event for June 16th, I think it is, just a trending event, hashtag release the Schumacher cut. So go give those a follow and participate if you want to see this director's cut. But guys, would you watch this? Should Warner Brothers release it? Should it be on HBO Max or Blu-ray? Would you buy it? Would you watch it? I'm fascinated by the story. I want to see a 3-hour Batman movie, definitely, with more of Val Kilmer because I think he's absolutely brilliant. But would other people watch it? Would general audiences watch it? But maybe put it out as a tribute to Joel Schumacher. I think it would be really, really sweet. I definitely think it would. But guys, give a like, comment, subscribe. Come follow me on all the social medias, movies that matter. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate it. And let me know below in the comments your thoughts on Joel Schumacher as a filmmaker. And would you watch Batman Forever, the Joel Schumacher cut? 3 hours. Would you watch it? Let me know.